welcome back to the channel. So in this video I will be going over the pros and cons of running a big turbo in a Evo 10 and is it worth it. So make sure to watch till the end for my honest opinion. And this is my 2012 Evo 10 GSR and I am running a ETS T4 Twin Scroll turbo kit with a Precision 6266 turbo with full supporting mods. The motor is pretty much fully stock and still on the stock clutch as well. The car is tuned on 91 octane, pushing 24 pounds of boost, and it is making around 460 to the wheel. The car is running amazingly so far, no major issues, no hiccups or anything like that. Drives very nicely and pulls hard from 4500 RPM to 7500 RPM. So one of the biggest pro, or why would you go bigger turbo, is obviously more power, right? But with a bigger turbo, you will have to deal with these drawbacks. The first thing that I noticed is the lack of low-end torque and power. Cruising in town, doing about 20 to 50% throttle input and shifting around 3500 RPM, you're not going to feel the torque and power pulling you off like the stock turbo. With the stock turbo, if you do like 50% throttle input and shifting at 3500 RPM, you would see around 8 to 12 PSI boost already. But with this setup, you will not make any boost under 50% throttle input. So yeah. So if you have a heavy foot and wants to feel the torque and power off the line every time, then this setup may not be for you. The car pretty much felt like a NA car if you're just cruising around. Another drawback is obviously the turbo lag. In this setup, if I were to do wide open throttle at 3500 RPM in third gear, the car will not build any boost until it hits about 3800 RPM, then about 11 PSI by 4300 RPM, and that is when the external wastegate open. Full boost is around 5000 RPM, pushing 24 pounds of boost, and it holds all the way to 7500 RPM. So there is no point of going wide open throttle under 4500 RPM since you're not going to get the power that you want. Rather, it will just cause some damage to the motor and the turbo. So just don't go wide open throttle under 4500 RPM. So is going big turbo worth it? I would say it depends on your driving style and power goal for the car. If you are someone who is impatient and wants instant power and boost every time, then a big turbo like the 6266 will not be worth it since it will make the car feel slower in the low and mid-range, and you'll be better off staying with the stock turbo or just going slightly bigger. For example, the MHI 18K turbo. Another thing is power goal. If your end goal is to only make around the 400-500 wheel horsepower and you want minimal lag as possible, instant power, instant torque, then a big turbo like this is not worth it. There are better turbos for those applications, like I mentioned, the MHI 18K or GTX 3576. Those are very popular. As for me, this setup is worth every penny, and here is why. First of all, I do not like how the power delivery of the stock turbo at all. Why? Because cruising around town, you will always be in and out of boost, which make the acceleration not as smooth. And I just don't like the feeling of getting in and out of boost all the time, when you're just cruising, normal driving, cruising in town. The power and torque come on very strong in the beginning, but it quickly taper off, so it's not even worth it to rev it out since you're not making any more power. So with the 6266, power delivery is very linear and it is a lot higher up, which I like a lot. Normal driving, you will not be in and out of boost, which makes the car drive very smooth, just a very smooth acceleration. I feel like the car pretty much has two personality. Normal driving, very easy going, very smooth, but when you're getting on it, it definitely pulls hard all the way to red line, especially with the external wastegate setup. It just sounds insane. Another thing is power goal. My goal for power is to make around 700 wheel horsepower, and this setup and the turbo is, you know, more than capable of doing that. Even with some of the drawback that I mentioned earlier, this setup is still awesome and I like it a lot. You know, I would do the same setup if I have a redo. For what I use the car for, which just a fun street car and my driving style, these drawbacks don't even bother me at all. Therefore, you know, I just need to build the motor, get all the other support mods on it, and take this thing to 700 wheel horsepower. It's a work in progress, so make sure to subscribe and stay tuned. If you made it this far into the videos, I just want to say thank you for all the support, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.